Hi, I'm Jake. I make RPG supplements and videos about Pathfinder 2, or PF 2. Mostly videos about Pathfinder 2. I do that more than anything else because I love this freaking system and they just keep coming out with cool new... Don't swear yet. It's within the first minute. Wait, okay. Hi, welcome. Today we're going to be going over Wardens of Wildwood because it's an adventure path, obviously spoilers, that somehow has so much cool stuff for barbarians and druids and everybody who might want to do naturey things. It's like Howl of the Wild, but for plants. It's weird that there's so much in here. It doesn't have all the ancestries or all the archetypes, but aside from that, it has like all the, we're adjusting the classes to do these things now. Neat. And it still has some ancestry archetype, or some ancestry feats. It's neat. So today we're going over the Circle of Spores Druid replacement-ish, if you're coming from 5e, called the Spore Order. It's a Leaf Order variant. So, unless otherwise stated, it gets the Leaf Order variant stuff. You're fascinated by molds and fungi, and you understand the important role they play in the continued health of ecosystems. This interest often puts you at odds with local communities, who view molds and fungi as something to be eradicated rather than nurtured. You're trained in intimidation. You also gain the Leshy Familiar Druid feat, but you must create a fungus Leshy. You gain the Mushroom Patch Order spell, which I'll go over in a moment, and you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. Committing wanton cruelty to mold or fungi, killing mold or fungi unnecessarily, or interfering with the natural process of decay is anathema to your order. This doesn't prevent you from defending yourself against fungi or molds, or from harvesting fungi or molds for sustenance. Convenient. Special. The Spore Order is a variant of the Leaf Order. If you have the Spore Order, you count as a member of the Leaf Order, and you qualify for Leaf Order feats. Makes sense. So there are some cool new feats. We're going to go over them. We will, but hold on. First, we're going over Mushroom Patch, the Order spell that you got as being a Fungasaur Druid. Mushroom Patch. Focus spell, first level, uncommon. It has a fungus trait, which is interesting. Traditions, primal, obviously cast 2 actions, somatic verbal, range 60 feet, area 10-foot radius burst, duration 1 minute. You cause mushrooms to sprout in the area. The area becomes difficult terrain. When the spell is cast and at the beginning of each round, the mushrooms release a cloud of irritating spores. Creatures in the area must attempt a fortitude save. Critical success, the creature is unaffected like everything else. Success. The creature is dazzled for 1 round. If the creature moves to outside the area, they can spend 1 action to rub their eyes, removing the dazzled condition. Failure. The creature becomes dazzled for 1 round. Critical failure. The creature becomes dazzled and slowed 1 for 1 round. That last one's kind of awesome, and it's a 10-foot burst, and it's at first level. You can slow a group of enemies. That's neat. Heightened to 3rd level. The range increases to 90 feet, and the area increases to a 20-foot radius burst. Same thing happens later on. 6th level, 120 feet, 30-foot radius burst. 9th level, its range increases to 150 feet. The area increases to 40-foot radius burst. And when a creature would become dazzled, it would become blinded instead. So it actually maintains its efficacy later on in levels. That's great. Don't cheat. Yes, that was a kineticist impulse. We're going to go over that too. So I think that what they expect you to take is the Fungal Exhalation feat at 6th level. It's a new Druid focus feat. Prerequisites: Spore Order. You can conjure toxic spores to infect enemies. You gain the Fungal Exhalation Order spell. Increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. Fungal Exhalation. It's a 3rd level focus spell. Has the fungus trait. Traditions, primal, cast 2 actions, somatic verbal. It has an area of a 15-foot cone. Saving throw, basic reflex. You exhale toxic mold spores that fill the area. Like a rotting dragon. You deal 64 poison damage to creatures in the area. On a failure, a creature is also sickened 1 or sickened 2 on a critical failure. A creature that doesn't breathe is immune to this effect. This is freaking neat. Heightened +1. The damage increases by 2d4. That's decent. I'm glad it's not just like 1d4. I think that in the remaster, they've generally improved how things heighten. Their new creations, at least. They didn't pick up all of the old ones, but the new ones seem to have the correct heightening. Like, it's still useful. Neat. So that was the first of 2 new Druid Order subclass thingies. So the next one is the Cultivation Order, Leaf Order variant. You believe that nature is best tended, pruned, and maintained. Nature is inherently random and chaotic out of necessity of survival. The flower spreads its seeds far and wide, hoping that some might sprout, but you believe that plants truly thrive in orderly environments. Interesting. They went with like rot and order. I guess that kind of makes sense. It's nature. Thus, you lend a hand, decluttering that which is stagnant, planting in ideal locations, replanting that which grows in suboptimal locations, mulching the soil, and performing other maintenance. While many druids might consider your approach meddling or unnatural, you know that the work you do is vital for the overall health of the environment you tend. I like this because one of the gods in the wood plane, one of the elemental deities, likes making gardens. Like, how could it be unnatural if a deity does it? I like this. It's a reflection of that dude. You're a gardener of the world. You're trained in crafting. You also gain the Leshy Familiar Druid feat. You gain the Cornucopia Order spell, which I'll mention in a moment. And you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. Committing wanton cruelty to plants or fungi or neglecting to nurture plants in need of tending is anathema to your order. Ooh, plot hook. This doesn't prevent you from killing plants or fungi, and it doesn't prevent you from defending yourself against plants or fungi. Special, the Cultivation Order is a variant of the Leaf Order. If you have the Cultivation Order, you count as a member of the Leaf Order, and you qualify for Leaf Order feats. So I mentioned Cornucopia. Cornucopia is what used to be Goodberry. That Goodberry got deleted because laws, OGL stuff. So Cornucopia is a first level focus spell. It's a druid spell that, well, it takes 2 actions to cast, duration is 10 minutes, vines twine into a wicker horn in your hands, and outspells a single fruit, nut, or similar small bit of produce. With my NPC, I had it be little cabbages. A creature who eats the produce with an interact action regains 1d6 plus 4 hit points. The cornucopia, as well as any unconsumed pieces of fruit, wither away at the end of duration. Heightened +1, the cornucopia produces an additional piece of food. A creature can consume any amount of food from the same casting with a single interact action. Eating 6 pieces of produce from the cornucopia gives as much nourishment as 1 square meal for a typical human. I don't know why, but one of the PCs in my group was an awakened ape, and he just ate the whole cornucopia. Yummy wicker? I don't know. So that's what it's talking about. So, now I will cover the other new druid feat. Feat level 6, Hedge Prison. It has the uncommon druid and focus traits, the prerequisites is Cultivation Order. You cultivate plants to entrap your foes. You gain the Hedge Prison Order spell. Increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. Sure. Hedge Prison. It's a 3rd level focus spell. It has the traits of uncommon druid, focus, and plant. Traditions Primal, cast 2 actions, somatic, verbal, range 30 feet, targets 1 medium or smaller creature. Saving throw, reflex, duration sustained up to 1 minute. You conjure an intricate hedge prison to trap a creature, encasing them completely in a hollow cube of dense bushes. That's fun. I want to be a minotaur doing this. The hedge has AC 5, hardness 5, and 20 hit points. It's immune to critical hits and precision damage. Critical success. The creature escapes the hedge before it fully forms. Success. The creature is trapped inside the hedge, but the hedge's hit points are reduced by half. Failure. The creature is trapped inside the hedge. Critical failure. The creature is trapped inside the hedge, and the hedge's hit points are increased by half. Interesting. So it's just harder to get out of it. It's a little trap. Fine. I do think Minotaur should get a bonus to get past it. So, heightened levels. Heightened to 4th. The hedge's hardness increases to 7, and its hit points increase to 30. Okay, there's a lot to read here, but basically, the hardness and hit points keep increasing by 2 and 10, respectively. And for each level rank, it's heightened. You can target a creature that is bigger. That's it. Okay, fine. Now, since we're talking about druids and druidy spells, I know that's the new barbarian instincts. Oh, they're great. Okay, so we're going to talk about the other spells that are part of this book, because they're also druidy, and you can cast them as a druid person. Spells of wood. All of these spells are uncommon because they're used in the plane of wood in the adventure. So, GM approval, I guess. Technically, who cares? Come on, they're just cool spells. Who gives a damn? 5th level spell, Boomerang Shot. It has the Concentrate, Manipulate, Plant, and Wood traits, Traditions, Arcane, and Primal, range 100 feet, targets one creature. You launch a curved length of wood at a foe that arcs around objects and obstacles to strike from an unexpected direction. Make a spell attack roll against the target's AC. This attack ignores the target's concealed condition, so you don't have to roll. Roll against the concealed condition. And ignores all cover except greater cover. So unless they're completely covered, you ignore it. If you hit, the projectile deals 7d10 bludgeoning damage. It doesn't make any sense to me that, you ignore the concealed condition, because you still have to aim the damn thing, right? You know what? Who cares? It's cool. It's a big boomerang. Fine. It's 5th level to start with. When it's heightened to 7th, it does 9d10. Heightened 9th, it does 12d10, and the attack ignores cover completely. Even complete cover completely. This is my favorite new spell because everybody can cast it because it's arcane and primal. It's a cantrip. So, it's 2 actions. Bramble Bush. It has the uncommon, Concentrate, Manipulate, Plant, and Wood traits. Range 30 feet, area 5 foot cube, defense, basic reflex. In a sudden burst of growth, you cause a thorned bush to sprout from the ground, lash around, and wither. Any creature in the area takes 1d4 piercing damage with a basic reflex saving throw. Until the start of your next turn, the area is difficult terrain and hazardous terrain. Any creature entering the square takes 1d4 piercing damage with a basic reflex saving throw. Heightened +2, the initial damage increases by 1d4, and the damage dealt by hazardous terrain increases by 1. So in one book, Pathfinder Paizo gave us spike growth and the Circle of Spores Druid. Do with that what you will. I want to see if you can do combos by pushing people past or through the hazardous terrain. This is interesting to me. I know I said that was my favorite spell in this book, and it is because it's a cantrip, so it can be used at first level, but I have to say that this one holds a special place in my heart. Conjured Conveyance. It's because of how often something like this, the ritual that conjures a carriage, has been useful in my live stream campaign. It's a 3rd level spell, takes 3 actions, Conjured Conveyance. The traits are Uncommon, Concentrate, Manipulate, Plant, Wood. Traditions, Arcane, and Primal. Range 30 feet, duration 1 hour. You conjure an intricate vehicle carved entirely from wood to serve as a method of conveyance. The vehicle appears in an unoccupied area of your choice within range. The vehicle can be piloted using Arcana, Driving Lore, or Nature skill checks. The DC to pilot the vehicle and the DC of the vehicle's collision are equal to your spell DC. Boring, boring, boring. The vehicle's remaining statistics are presented below. I'll mention them, but you can change them too. When you cast the spell, choose whether to create a large skiff, so on water, a large wagon, or a medium cycle. Like a motorcycle? Really? Okay, it's the fastest. That's kind of neat. I'm a druid with a motorbike. Propelled by magic. With the GM's permission, you might instead summon a different vehicle of your choice with a maximum level of 1. This vehicle must be made primarily of plant matter, have common rarity, and be large or small. That's the part that I love. That you can, when you heighten the spell, okay, I'll get to it. So here are the statistics for the vehicle. Large skiff, space 15 feet long, 5 feet wide, 3 feet high, crew 1 pilot, passengers 3, speed, swim 30 feet, magical. Large wagon, space 10 feet wide, 7 feet high, crew 1 pilot, passengers 3, speed 35 feet, magical. So far, with those 2 options, you can carry your whole team. Only for an hour. Still, unless you have Mystic Carriage, the ritual, this is a really useful option. It's just a spell. You don't need really expensive material components or anything. The medium cycle, space 5 feet long, 3 feet wide, 3 feet high, crew 1 pilot, passengers 0, speed 40 feet, magical. So it's just really fast. That's why you would make the bike. AC 13, fortitude plus 8, hardness 5, hit point. Who cares? It's hard to destroy except against fire and slashing. Collision 2d6. So that's if it crashes, the damage you take. Heightened 1 rank, the vehicle's AC increases by 2, fortitude bonus increases by 2, hardness increases by 1, HP increases by 20, and the collision damage increases by 1d6. In addition, the maximum level of vehicle you can summon with GM permission increases by 2, and the duration increases by an hour. So eventually you could have this for an 8-hour day of travel, and it could be a giant skyship. I mean, this is neat. This is a really useful, flexible spell with a great future to it. I love things that make life easy. I think that that's because my magical fantasy is that I can magically, like, get the dishes done quickly. Conveniences. Couple more spells. This next one is, like, complex and creepy. So that's a cool kind of spell to have. Cordyceps Command. Spell level 3, rank 3. Uncommon, fungus, concentrate, incapacitation, manipulate, poison. Is incapacitation because it controls people's minds. Traditions, primal, range 30 feet, targets one creature, defense, fortitude. You conjure a mote of cordyceps spores uniquely tailored to the target before whisking it at them. So you throw spores at someone to control their mind. That's starting off really strong. In theme, at least. When you cast this spell, choose one of the following behaviors that the fungus compels. Ascend, consume, descend, or lure. While the target is controlled by the cordyceps toxin's stage 3 effects, it performs that behavior. This control might include risky behavior such as climbing down a precarious cliff or weaving between armed foes, but it doesn't compel outright lethal action, such as leaping off the top of that same cliff. If the behavior directly leads to harm, such as falling off the cliff, or hostile actions, such as being attacked by creatures that can now reach the descending creature, the target gains a +4 bonus to their next saving throw against the poison. I don't think that makes biological sense, but whatever, it's fine. Ascend. So, this is one of the 4 commands you can give. What happens when you command Ascend? The creature tries to reach higher altitudes by any reasonable means, such as climbing, seeking stairs, or even stacking debris to jump atop of in an attempt to be as high up as possible. In a normal combat, on a flat plane, you command them to ascend. As long as nobody attacks them, they're leaving to find a ladder. Great. Next command, Consume. The creature greedily eats or drinks whatever is nearby, using actions to draw and consume elixirs, food, or other consumable items. If the creature has a Jaws strike, Fang strike, or similar unarmed strike, the creature can instead chase after and use that strike against edible targets. If no other food or drink is accessible, the creature attempts to steal or seek nearby nutrition. That one's kind of creepy, but fun. Just make them obsessed with food. That'd be fun to just, like, do to somebody in a tavern just to see what happens. Okay, I know, I would mess with people if I really had magic. Descend. The creature tries to reach lower altitudes by any reasonable means, such as climbing, descending while flying, or even falling prone and attempting to burrow into the ground. That could be useful against flying targets. 3rd level, okay. Yeah, 3rd rank spell. That seems reasonable to be able to control, well, to ground a flying creature. Lure. The creature moves toward an exposed location and attempts to get bystanders' attention, such as by gesticulating, performing, or igniting light sources. The target is off guard while controlled in this way. Hey, look at me. I need everybody to look at me right now. Yay, me. For no reason. Just look at me. Success, the target is unaffected. Failure, the target is afflicted with cordyceps toxin at stage 1. Critical failure, they're affected with it at stage 2. Cordyceps toxin, what it does is obviously it's a poison toxin. Saving throw is DC 28. Fortitude, maximum duration 6 rounds. Stage 1 is stupefied 1 round. That can be useful by itself, especially against caster. Stage 2, confused for 1 round, which is also extremely useful against anybody. Stage 3, controlled, as it says, for 1 round. But it could go on longer because the maximum duration is 6 rounds. So this is a super flavorful Druid spell, which I don't see a lot of. That's neat. Control people's minds with spores. Just chucking spores at people. This will make a fun, evil NPC. Okay, so the last spell is Reed Whistle. It's a level 1 spell, 2 actions, uncommon, concentrate, manipulate, plant wood. Traditions are arcane, occult, whatever, or primal. Why not just make it everything then? Duration, 1 hour or until expended. You enchant a blade of grass that you can easily hold in your mouth without inhibiting your speech or other actions. As a reaction, without inhibiting... Oh, no, kitty, get off the keyboard. As a reaction, you can reduce the spell's remaining duration by 1 hour to point out a creature you detect as you sharply whistle through the reed. Yeah, that's magic. You and your allies also gain a +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks to seek the creature for 1d4 rounds. Okay, but like, why isn't that just a cantrip? Like, my dad could do that. He was raised on a farm and he knew how to put all sorts of weird stuff in his mouth. Like, smoking cow shit cigarettes apparently gave you a headache, but it made you high. Don't take that as advice from me. Just saying, people on a farm learn weird things. Alright, I think this is silly as a spell and not just an ability, but it is mechanically useful in this system. It lasts for an hour, it's a first level spell. Fine, great, that's appropriate. If you have good perceptive abilities, it can be useful to help your friends find invisible or hidden creatures, especially if you're tracking. This is really going to have niche applications. It's technically useful. I hate things like that because they're not fun. Like, how many times would you rather prepare this than any other first level spell? Not often is the answer. That should be a freaking cantrip. Because, like, who cares? Okay, because then basically you'd always have +2 to... You'd always give your allies +2 to perception checks against that creature, but so what? Fine, it's a first level spell. It should last for 8 hours then. It's crap. Because it doesn't do a lot, and what it does do, it barely does. Thank you for joining me for this first installation of Wardens of Wildwood. I'm going to be covering the Barbarian as well. The Barbarian changes, or new Barbarian instincts. And Barbarian feats. And also there's an Archetype, and there's other feats as well. There's Ancestry feats and Deviant feats. It's a neat adventure path. I'm surprised there's so much stuff in here for players. And it was just a whisper. I'm glad that somebody told me about this. Eternal Warrior, thank you. I owe you for this, and frankly, so does everybody else listening. Because this is a very useful benefit. And I hope you're happy with the video, sir. Thank you for watching today. If you're a patron, I want to give you a special thanks. I appreciate you a lot. You help this channel out more than you probably realize. If you want to join Patreon or just join the Discord chats, everybody can just chat. You don't have to be a member of Patreon to just chat with us. And right now we're doing a contest for the best, most creative pirate build. We're doing a build every week now in the Discord. It's fun. Come join us. Links in the description. If you want to see the Howl of the Wild videos, because it's sort of a similar feel here, or if you want to see the live stream that I mentioned earlier, live stream link is over here. Thank you.